Thank you for listening to the Old 77 podcast.
Local pictures. Local pictures.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
know I've told you guys, I have an aunt that swears her husband died of brain cancer and came back and sat on the edge of her bed for, all night.
Wow. I got chills just right
And
just
talked
by
to
you
her,
telling me
her, and I've known that since I was born. Like, I've grown up around this stuff, really. Like,
Yeah.
I believe in this.
Yeah, at a certain point, you can't just discount these stories because there's so many of them.
Who are you?
Hi there. This is the Old 77. It's a safe place in an unsafe world.
There is something inside my house. It's a demon.
Warning. Foul language may occur due to the subject matter.
What can you tell me about demonic possession?
These people are scared.
Become a subscriber at patreon.com/theold77podcast. Subscribers get bonus content and early access to episodes. Find out more at patreon.com/theold77podcast. Thanks for listening.
Exorcism, does it work?
From the Old 77 Studios in Jefferson City, Missouri, this is the Old 77. It's a safe place.
In an unsafe world.
Gentlemen,
What's going on, Dave?
been looking forward to this one.
This is a good one tonight.
Yeah. So we got a couple friends on the show tonight. So we have my friend Matt Owsley, who I've known for, God, I don't know, how long, dude?
Longer than either of us want to admit.
Yeah, what he said. And then my buddy Will, who I've fucking known for like 20 years, give or take.
17.
So, but these guys are with the Jefferson City Paranormal Society.
Nice.
So welcome, guys. Welcome.
Yes, welcome to the
Thanks for having
show.
us.
We are super pumped that you guys are here tonight. I mean, we were just talking off mic about some fascinating stuff, and we definitely want to get to all this.
Yeah.
I mean, we can be here for like 3 hours if you want. I mean, sometimes
as
shows.
long as it takes,
our
man,
longest
yeah.
show was like 2 hours, and I think it was
It's kind of like Rogan in
2:45,
that
something
regard.
like that,
We don't really have a time limit.
Yeah, we don't
so-
really count
I
time.
just got to be
so.
at work and I push paper, so let's roll.
Let's do it. All right.
We're doing it, man. Yeah,
Sounds
he's
good.
ready.
So let's get into it then, guys. So first of all, if you guys want to find Jefferson City Paranormal Society, if you're like me, you'll find them on Facebook.
Right.
Just search for them.
Where else are you guys at?
Yeah, where else can they find you?
So we're literally everywhere. I dabble in like basically every social media. So I have us kind of split up just to kind of keep things cool. First off, you can go to jeffcityparanormal.com. I'm still working on it. Our host changed our back-end design software. So I'm having to teach myself how to design WordPress.
Oh, fun.
Know what you mean, man.
So I'm technically like, it's just my website right now with a couple links. So eventually I'll have some content on there. For now, the Facebook page is the best bet, just Jeff City Paranormal, Jefferson City Paranormal. YouTube is going to have all of our video content.
Right.
Yeah.
I literally upload it raw. So the couple things I do is I upload any investigations we do raw. I don't edit anything. I don't pull anything. I may make highlight videos, but when you go watch, like you're watching there's literally hours and hours and hours where you can watch different investigations, different stuff. We also have a Pinterest page, and that is good for just keeping my images up. So it's Pinterest and Flickr.
Cool.
If you go to Flickr and just look Jefferson City Paranormal, they're all public. This is our DSLR camera, which we use pretty much on every investigation.
Sure.
We've really shown a lot with it. We didn't really believe in orbs and light anomalies until we had an investigation where the camera showed stuff where it's never done that before. We investigated the haunt of this place in Jeff City, and it didn't have anything. And then we go out to this field in Callaway County, which we can talk about here in a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's got orbs everywhere. So a little bit of everywhere on social media. I got a couple funny videos on TikTok even.
Yeah.
I keep my phone busy.
Okay.
So let's just
That's the way to do it right there, man.
so let's just jump right in and tell the people, how did you guys become a thing? What got you guys started?
I started this whole thing.
Yeah, no, it was all Will.
Congratulations,
it actually
Will.
kind of was.
It was. I don't lie. So my mom is does the tours for MSP. She's been doing it for probably 5 or 6 years now.
Did she work out there back in the day?
No.
Okay.
And so she started doing those and was like, you need to come do a tour. So it was like, all right. And I think me and Aaron had done one before with her sister and some other people. And then this time we was like, yeah, we need to go, and contacted Matt and Jacqueline. And
it was actually a surprise birthday present for me from Jacqueline.
That's cool.
And then,
that's a cool birthday present.
Yeah, she's like, hey, we're going to prison. I'm like, oh, good, I've done this historic tour before. She's like, no.
You guys did
overnight.
The night
So you guys actually did the overnight one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was till like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, 3 in the morning.
3 in the morning.
So did
They've
you guys
got ones that last longer, but
did you guys have like any equipment at that time, or were you just kind of going into it cold?
we had
we had basic stuff that they like phones, obviously.
Sure.
The
We had our
cat toy.
DSLR. We had
Did we have the cat toy?
We had one motion activated cat.
So this
toy.
is like basic
very
technology
basic
for this.
technology. Yeah,
Okay.
you know, we were just
Tell us what's
present.
the DSLR?
So a DSLR is just a high-end camera, so it's a lot of megapixels.
Okay.
Whenever I take a picture with my phone here, it's a 16 megapixel,
Okay.
so it's 16,000 or 16 million pixels
Sure.
per inch. The DSLR camera is 85 million or something. You know, so it picks up high def.
Okay, so you guys go do the overnight thing at MSP, and so what happened that night?
So really, we only had a couple small experiences. One good one. We were down in death row, and I was holding a K2 meter, or an EMF tester. It tests for electromagnetic fields. Most paranormal investigators find this tool to be very reliable in showing when energy is around. We did have it light up. I was holding it, full body chills. Everybody saw it happen, and we heard a couple odds and end noises. Did you guys experience anything live?
So the only thing that I remember from that is whenever we were checking out that cell and we'd put down the cat toy in front of us, you were off to my right. I was of the cell looking at it. I was off to the left. Aaron and Jacqueline were pretty much in front of it. You were off to the right. We're trying to get it to do something or get something to go on, and we go to pick back up the cat toy, and it was almost behind. It was almost in front of you. It
moved.
From what we remember. Moved like 5 feet to the right, and whenever you touch these things, like they'll start lighting up.
Yeah, they light up like
some
this.
of them are a little bit more sensitive than others, but if you pick it up, no matter what it is, it's gonna come on, and it did not.
Yeah,
because I mean, it'll light up a room.
Yeah, no, for sure, and we've had it go off on several investigations. So, but yeah, that was really and then we got back and we processed the audio, and we really only did audio from our phones. We didn't invest in any kind of recorders or anything, and we caught cell door slamming. We caught some fleeting voices. We caught old music in one of the older houses. It was just us basically in there, and it sounded like it was an old radio or an old
like an old AM radio.
Oh no, an old 45 plan.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so because it's a different sound.
Okay,
right.
yeah.
It's definitely
had the scratches.
Right. So that's what we kind of caught on it. So it was like
Interesting.
That was when it was really cool, and then. At the same time that's going on is when I'm doing my ancestry, trying to figure out who I am, because I was telling you off air, it's like 80 adoptions of my family, so trying to figure out who I am.
That's crazy.
And so we're like, you know what? Let's get a voice recorder. We order a voice recorder on Amazon for like $50.
Yeah.
And we head over to the cemetery where my grandparents are buried. And then Jacqueline gets her doors kicked in, basically as far as becoming a medium goes. We catch one of the coolest EVPs. I mean, somebody asks us for a cigarette.
Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock at night. We're in the middle of a cemetery. It's me and her. There is nobody around. We're in the middle of the cemetery. And clear as day, somebody asks for a cigarette.
So when you guys do the
That is
EVP
insane.
recordings, is there a special device, or can you just like literally use a voice recorder and pick EVPs up?
You can use your phone.
Yeah, okay.
So basically what it is I don't know if you guys use Audacity or not.
Yeah, we know what
Oh,
Audacity
yeah.
is.
So
yeah.
all I do is a noise removal. I do it one time and that's it.
Interesting.
So I don't mess with frequencies. I don't mess with amplifications. Nothing. All I do is go in. I find a spot that is dead noise, and I pull that out because you're always going to have that in the background.
Sure.
And then from there is where we find things.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't have to do that. There are times where it's just loud. It's
So
like,
when you
okay.
guys did this, when you did your first investigation, or more or less, it was a birthday gift.
Right.
But after this, you guys were so intrigued, so you formed this society.
So
Which is funny. Aaron hates our initials because it's modeled after Jefferson City Public Schools.
JCPS or Jeff City.
right. But whatever.
So she's like,
because it
"Oh,
works.
that's great."
Sure.
Right, of course.
But it works.
You guys will take the extra Google hits, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
all
that's
day
what it's all
long.
about, man.
I may or may not actually own that name in the state of Missouri.
So what was like your first investigation you guys focused on?
Oh man! So the
you really took it seriously. You went into it like diving into it.
So Hobo Hill.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
So we did Hobo Hill live last Halloween. We were actually there the day before Halloween, so All Hallows Eve and Halloween.
Yeah, and you guys streamed it live on Facebook, right?
That's awesome, by the way.
We were just going to do an hour. We ended up with like 8 hours of live stream out of it.
Because we did on a Saturday just a test run.
Friday night. Yeah,
Friday night we did a test run for about an hour or so.
Test run ended up being like 3 hours.
Before you guys go any further, when you go into an investigation, are you scared? Because I would be.
Initially, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I call it my Forrest Gump moment. I did have one time in MSP where I did try to take off running. I made it about 10 steps, realized I was being an idiot, stopped.
Okay.
But for the most part, I haven't ran into anything that's that bad. I mean, I've been stopped in my tracks a few times.
Yeah.
He just runs after whatever's there.
Like, I think
he's that dude.
To be like, what's that over there?
Will,
like, go over there.
Will was in the. How long were you in the Navy for, dude?
22. I retired.
20, yeah.
Okay,
So Will's used to running towards wherever the bad shit is happening.
Wherever the chow hall's at. I'm used to
right, the chow hall, right.
Wherever the danger's at, Will is there.
Yeah, no, for sure. We're like, that's a 22-foot tall shadow. He's like, give me a flashlight. I'll be back.
So I'm sorry for
No, you're good. You're good. So yeah, no, we all have our strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
So I kind of come in. I'm the one that kind of handles all the technology.
Sure.
I do a lot of the evidence review. I actually, we can talk about it a little bit later as well. I rely on the public's help with our evidence review as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just me. Will is we make fun of him. We call him the skeptic because he doesn't believe in until it's in front of him, and then he's like,
the word shit, Matt.
Right.
Yeah, you can say
You can say it on
and then he's like,
this is a podcast.
Okay, and then I'm gonna drop an F-bomb. And then he's like, what the fuck? And it's like, aha, I got you.
Yeah.
So it's always over because something will happen and be like, I got this, and it was like I go around and try to take base measurements, to see if there's any pulses or stuff, try to get them riled up, what's going on, stuff like that.
So at what point, Will, did you cross the line of I don't believe that this shit is real, and then into crossing over to where like, okay, it's real, I can't deny it anymore?
Have you crossed the line yet?
I don't think that I.
Oh, you're not there yet.
I was going to say, you had that?
Yeah, it's still in front of me.
Okay.
I've had stuff like back in my childhood. Like I remember the reflection of my glasses, like somebody crossing, from a shadow point.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, Grandpa's, gotten up to get something to drink or whatever, and no refrigerator door open or whatever. I go look, and both Grandma and Grandpa are asleep. It's like, okay. And some stuff has happened. So I'm open to the idea, but as I tell them every time, I was like, I'm going to have to wake up with that movie moment. There's going to be a handprint bruise on my back or, on my arm, and be like, okay.
Yeah.
Checkmate, roger that.
That moment for me, and I think you and I have talked about this, Matt, that moment for me where I crossed that line was my sleep paralysis episode.
Oh, yeah.
My encounter with the shadow being.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Because I was like an atheist when that happened. And
I tried for that. So at the hobo house, we had, I didn't know at the time, but so Friday night, I spent the night upstairs to where the shadow figure had come out of the bathroom.
By yourself?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we were all downstairs.
Yeah,
he was upstairs asleep.
You crazy fucker.
My wife, Erin, was like, no, there's no way I'm going up there. So I slept on the right side of the bed.
You gotta be kidding
and, like, nothing happened. A little bit, it was like I was kind of freaking myself out, and I was like, ended up sleeping the night. Something supposedly woke me up. They was like, when did you wake up? I was like, I just woke up. And they're like, no, something had happened.
Yeah,
I'll have Matt tell you about that.
So we actually had a what kind of camera? Is it a security camera of some type?
Oh, well, that happened too. But whenever I woke up, there was it sounded like a box drop. You all thought from upstairs.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
That was a different thing.
It sounded like a stomp, like somebody stomped, and we were watching a camera, and he got up out of bed and looked around.
Because there was a security camera that we've got. It's got a SIM card in it, but we had it on that room the whole night since that's where we knew. Something had happened. I was spending the night up there. So supposedly a thump hit right before I woke up. And they was like, no, the thump. I was like, I didn't hear the thump.
The thump was hard enough to set off the motion activation of that camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was real. It wasn't like it was just some BS.
Or like it wasn't some shit outside or something.
Oh, no, it was inside. And it was hard enough to shake the cabinet the dresser that the camera was actually set on, enough for it to trigger the motion
It's
activation.
like someone just jumped off a high shelf or something.
Stomped their feet or kicked something.
Yeah. That's like some serious energy right there.
That is some very serious energy.
So then we had the full Facebook Live Saturday night, and so Aaron and Aaron that own the place, we had them on. One was as themselves, and the other one was on his hobo house. So we were like, okay, here we are. What should we do? Where have you, experienced stuff? And so we were just going around the house like here, and here.
They were like, well, here's where Dead Files went. Here's what they said.
Yeah.
Here's what they did. Here's what this psychic that was here. This is what they said.
Yeah. I was totally upset because I was like, okay, Aaron, the female Aaron. I was like, where did you sleep at and experience this? She's like on the other side. I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, I just for some reason thought this was the side.
Right.
So I ended up not sleeping up there the second night. Aaron was just like, sleep down here.
Did someone else sleep up there or
no?
Oh no! It got to the point where we were all pretty much in one room.
Was there a lot of activity though? While
there, I mean, if you want to call it a lot, I know. If you watch Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, whatever,
right?
A lot of that shit's made up. Right.
Yeah,
so
it's scripted for television.
It's edited, so there's something happening every 3 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not every 3 minutes in real life. But it was enough to get us to where we were all like, And then the girls, one being a medium who's trying to figure herself out, and the other one an empath who has every feeling that you could imagine of other people, like she can feel them.
Yeah.
So it's overwhelming for them because just to get into the absolute of it, there's a portal in the house that was opened up by somebody back in the day. Portals are a place where spirits can come and go as you please. So nobody knows who opened it. Nobody knows anything about it. So it's hard to or too impossible to close that portal. So there's a lot of just like these transient entities that are in and out of the house. So
so basically anything could come through there.
Anything could come through.
We're talking something like evil.
How does something like that form?
So a lot of times from the research that we've done, it is people like with an Ouija board that open it up to talk to a spirit, and then they don't do the closing ceremony, or somebody who does a seance.
Fucking details, man.
Yeah,
the devil is literally in the details on this one.
Or somebody who does a seance and they don't close it, or if somebody does a pentagram on the ground to do a ritual and they break that plane that you're not supposed to break.
Yeah,
those are all ways that can open a portal. We don't get to see it, feel it, hear it generally. So
that's why I don't fuck with Ouija boards.
Why a Ouija board?
That's why I bought one.
Right?
Actually, I got given one.
Why a Ouija board?
Christmas, you know what I mean?
So I don't know the exact history of the Ouija board itself, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. But from what I gather is it's a very ancient instrument that was designed to contact not dead people, but demons. Its point is to contact entities not of human nature.
It's out in the truck. I can go get it.
Yeah.
No, they're all shaking their head.
Keep that shit in the truck, will you?
Pussies.
Right. Man, bring that in. Let's do that.
I've seen some.
We're gonna find out who that guy in the suit is.
Have you really?
Oh yeah, I've seen
Hell yeah.
the puck of one move on its own. Nobody's touching the board. And it spelled out a name. I'm not gonna say the name out loud because with demons, when you say their names out loud, it actually makes them more powerful.
Yeah, we're good. We're not going to do that.
So we're not gonna say any names tonight when we talk about the different things we've ran into.
It's getting heavy.
So you're talking about like the rituals and things like that,
Right.
things that you have to do. So one of the things that I learned when I found out that sleep paralysis didn't just happen to me, that it happens to everybody.
Oh, so many people.
Yeah. One of the things that I learned about that is that, apparently, of course you can't really move, but some people can, when it happened to me, I could move my eyes, and some people can kind of move their fingers a little bit, but some people will like literally put their fingers in the shape of a cross. And supposedly it works.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this much, it was terrifying enough to me when it happened to me. I'll give it a try.
Right. Oh, no, for sure. So the what I've read, so when I've listened to your podcast, I'm like, all right, I got to look into this a little more. It's never happened to me, but you're not the first person in my life that's ever talked about that. So this sleep paralysis is something that's been going on since the 1500s.
Probably longer than that.
Well, that's been written about.
Documented.
Right.
The first documented case.
Look at the artwork of the day where they
Right.
have like a little demon cat sitting on somebody's chest.
Right. So this is actually the beginning of Slender Man. This is how Slender Man came into existence.
Wait, I thought Slender Man was like,
but it's a fake thing. It's
on
a
the
fake
internet.
thing, right?
Well, no, but no. Slender Man is from Stephen King.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, and it's from the sleep paralysis because so many people look. I know you guys do UFO stuff, right?
Yeah, we love that shit.
If you've got 300 fucking people in 2 states, all see the exact same thing, the United States Army can't tell you it's a weather balloon.
Right.
You know, it's got to be something.
Unless, of course, it's the United States Army
weather balloon.
Weather balloon dosing LSD into the crowd, you know.
Right.
Will, have you ever seen that painting?
No.
You've seen it, haven't you, Matt?
Yeah, that's a cryptid.
It's a depiction of sleep paralysis.
Right. Well, so this is it's a cryptid. So in the world of paranormal, a cryptid is any creature that you can't call a human.
Right.
Which we've run into on occasion. It's not a demon. It's something in the middle. We're just now learning about that because we ran into our first official one on our last investigation, and then we've got hissing noises and it making weird. We haven't released the evidence yet. We're still working on it. Just some weird noises.
Where was this investigation?
So
at?
this investigation that with the cryptid was actually in Fulton. So the old high school was converted into apartments.
Demon House, who you're talking about earlier?
No.
Okay, different place. Sorry.
Oh no, Demon House. Yeah, no.
We'll talk.
Sorry.
Yeah. Let's get to that one later.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But that it's just it ends up being again a spirit connected to a person that brought us there, and then we run into other stuff. And it's a cryptid. It's this little 2-foot thing that can fit into a air vent. That's where the medium felt
kept on coming out of the air vent.
Shut up.
Yeah, and so I pointed the camera up there. It's weird.
Get out of here.
I'll send you the video before I release it out just so you can see it. It actually looks like there's little hand and feet print on the ceiling that you can't see with your eyes until it goes to infrared. Right. And then it looks and you look at it and you're like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then
that's creepy.
It's kind of like an unidentified footprint. So UFF.
Right.
Unidentified flying footprint. Because you're like,
yeah, that makes sense.
So you run into all this craziness just out of
So what kind of evidence did you get from the hobo house?
Everything from my personal experiences. Those were a very big aha moments for me. I had shit happen to me when I was a kid that I know there are ghosts just from the stuff that happened to me as a kid, but it didn't happen directly to me. It was things that happened around me that I heard or saw. Mm-hmm. At Hobo Hill House, I literally watched his wife uses a wrist-based voice recorder. It's like a smartwatch. Mm-hmm. And I literally watched it slide across the counter as I'm filling up a coffee pot in the morning. And I wasn't half asleep. I was already awake. It was the second pot I was making. And it literally just slid about 3 feet, dude, across the island.
Yeah, the kitchen island.
And it just slid and slid and slid. And I'm just sitting here like, oh, well, this is fucking happening.
Yeah, right.
And then Friday.
That's cool.
Friday when we were setting up, they have a big kitchen table in the dining room. It's all open. The dining room, the kitchen, the living room. And my back is basically to a wall. There's about 5 to 6 feet behind me. Jacqueline, my wife, had been walking around, and occasionally when she walks up behind me, she touches my neck, or she'll grab me to let me know that I'm there.
Yeah.
And I felt like fingernails on my neck, and I turned around to give her a kiss, and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. So this is how we're gonna start.
Yeah, here we are.
Sweet.
So yeah, right.
Love it.
Like
So,
okay.
I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday. It was like we had some walkie-talkies set out. I had one upstairs,
Saturday.
One on me. You had one, and then Jacqueline had put hers down, but I moved it over toward the living room. We're just standing there talking about what we're going to do next, and then all of a sudden it was like, shh. All of them went off.
Yep.
And we were like, okay, because it was on channel 1. It's a general channel.
Damn.
Stuff can come through, but nothing ever came through. Like somebody talking on an EMS or whatever and stuff like that for the rest of the night. I think that happened twice.
So the second one that happened, we were in the bedroom with the black mass that shows up, and Jacqueline was on the side of the bed that you're supposed to be on, and all the lights are off, and it's her and I in there, and we have the cat toy down, the motion activated one. We have the EMF down on the bed. She's laying down on the bed, and she starts feeling something like in the bathroom. She's like, "Hey, honey, go investigate the bathroom." So I flip on one of the side lights so I can see, And I start heading over to the bathroom. As I turn to go to the bathroom, all the walkie-talkies go off. Was it a woman? It sounded like an old lady moaning. We caught it on camera. And so it stopped me from going to the bathroom. So we're assuming that's what it was. It was to stop me. But it was enough to like, we were all like, okay, we got to figure this out now. We got to figure out if it's the walkies, which it wasn't, because they didn't go off again at all.
No. That's the only 2 times that they went off the whole, like 9 hours of programming.
Yeah, and we left them on, so it's not like it was we turned them all off and put them. We didn't. We left them out.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, it was enough to like, it startled Jacqueline pretty good.
How did you guys get set up at that house? Like, how did you guys just like pay the fee? Because it's an Airbnb now, right?
Who found that out? Who you all?
Jacqueline booked it. I know that.
So you guys come to find out, it was like Aaron Clark went to high school at California. So I was like, oh,
yeah,
I know
Jesse,
him.
my wife knows her. Yeah,
they're the same. Yeah.
He seems like a really cool guy.
Oh, Aaron. Oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So then Aaron, it's cool because he's Marine, was in for 4 or 6 years, I think.
Yeah, he's in for a bit. Yeah.
He was in for a minute,
Then he was also a cop in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
So hearing him talk about that house and it scaring the crap out of him,
yeah.
like that's legit.
Yeah.
So that's what made me really want to, check it out, because I'm sure as a Marine and even as a cop, like he's been through stuff. It was like, I've been places, but he's been in events.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I've been to places, but he's been in events. I know.
He's a realist too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to lie about what he's seen.
And so he's just like,
a long time ago, him and his wife just like shared a video on Facebook of just explaining their whole experience. And boy, Aaron, he came across as very credible to me.
Right.
Like I could tell he wasn't just blowing smoke.
Oh no, for sure.
That story of his like little girl waking up in the middle of the night, and kind of just like
gonna throw
just kind of like on autopilot.
Yeah, like she was possessed.
And she was
just gonna like throw little brother out the window.
What happened? Yeah.
So
You're like,
I mean,
we're out of here.
What the hell is that all about?
So some people probably don't know what we're talking about. Can you link that to the Dead Files so people can watch?
So there was an episode of the Dead Files that we were talking about, and they did it at Hobo House. And in it, they said that the little girl, Aaron's little girl, in the middle of the night, like just woke up, and they would find her like meandering through the hallway, and when they would go to like talk to her, she would look at them in this like really far out spacey look. And then one night, I guess she was there when they woke up in bed, just sitting there like looking at them, and basically was like, hey, I'm gonna throw little brother out the window, we're just gonna go ahead and kill him,
and gave him like a really
like
maniacal
a creepy
smile.
Yeah.
So if I remember correctly, the portal that was talked about was in her closet. Yeah, so it was very possibly.
Yeah, and it was,
which then was another question. It was like, where was the portal? Then I did a spirit box session. I was like, I set my butt like right by it. Right. And I was like, let's do this.
Like, yeah, if you guys ever want to see some craziness, do a spirit box session somewhere. That was one of the later pieces of equipment that we kind of picked up on. I made one, and he was like, no, that one's junk. I'm going to buy one.
It wasn't junk. I just wanted one of my own.
Do you guys know what a spirit box is?
No clue.
So what a spirit box is it'll go through the stations, but it goes through really quick.
AM, FM.
AM,
I
FM.
gotcha.
And you can do it either forwards or backwards. Some people think, such as my mom, thinks that it works better backwards. That way, usually, for some reason, like you pick up more stuff. AM is better because there's not a lot of traffic on it as well.
Yeah.
So you're not listening for them saying words, because radio stations, and even though it's going really quick, will piece together syllables or something, will say something. And I think we did that at first. We was just hearing that and was like, okay, that's what the spirits want us to hear. But it'll come off of like background noise. So then whenever we play back the audio and stuff, and Aaron and Matt and everybody is doing the research for it, you'll hear the is what it sounds like, but through that you'll just hear Steve.
Right. So what it is so let's think about it like this. So let's look. We have a radio station, right? So we have 96.7. We have Shags in the morning. We have 96.9. We have 97.1, 97.3, 97.5, 97.7. So what a spirit box does is it runs those channels. Basically, you have a modern day radio. You hit next, it mutes it, goes to the channel, and then it stops when it gets a good signal and unmutes itself, and it plays whatever's there. So what a spirit box does is it removes that mute. So you hear that shh in the middle.
Oh, okay.
So the idea of it is that, again, like we were talking about earlier, how a ghost is just a form of energy. When they were alive, they had vocal cords. Why, if they're dead, why would they not still have vocal cords? Now, it may be on a different frequency than our ears can hear, but a radio can pick up nearly every frequency. So what you listen for is you listen for in between the stations. And a lot of times what you'll get is between, I'm just going to use a stupid example, 99.8 to 101.5. So, yeah, there's one radio station there that you should hear. But if you hear Steve that goes 95.4 or 95.3, 95.5, 95.7, 95.9, and it goes through 6 or 7 different stations, well, that's not normal. That's abnormal. That's something that's normal.
Right. Yeah.
And then that's where, and if it's a name Steve, wait a minute, that's intelligent.
Yeah.
Because now we're talking to somebody.
Yeah.
And we've had entire conversations on Spirit Box. It's called an ITC device, an communication device. Still learning all the lingo. Yeah, like you've got the SB boxes up. So these are the ones that the professionals use. He has one that's called an S box, right?
Yeah.
And there's a company that's called Ghost Stop, and they make a lot of modern equipment, and they make this S box. I bought an old Memorex AM/FM radio. I took it apart. I took the motherboard that's on it and split it in two. I cut the mute line, taped it back to itself so that it would never mute itself and it would never stop on a station. And I put it all back together, and I can actually run it forwards and backwards because it was cheaper than buying $100 one. And somebody told me I wasn't able to do it, and I hate being challenged. So I was like, I'm
You did it, yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was, and so I made it, and it worked.
Did you guys have this device when you investigated the Hobo House?
Yeah, we actually used it on several different floors. We used it in the basement. The basement was probably the most intense.
Did you have a conversation with
we had a lot of different things. So
what was the most creepiest thing that you guys?
Things telling us you're going to hell. They're going to kill you.
Shut up.
Oh yeah, for sure. So the way we do it, yeah, we run that, and we listen to it. But a lot of times you're not going to. It's like a voice recorder. You're not going to get EVP every second. So you're going to get stuff every now and then. So what I found was watching these different shows, the really credible ones, I think it was Portals to Hell, Jack Osborne. So he's a cop. He's like a real life cop. And so he looks at these investigations like a cop. And one of the things that his medium does that goes with him is they will actually put on blindfold and noise-canceling headphones and listen to the audio live. Listen to that live, and then somebody else will ask questions. So that person, for example, we have you blindfolded. You have some noise-canceling headphones on. You're just hearing that.
Yeah.
That's all you can hear. We are talking. You can't hear us.
Right.
So we start asking questions. You start providing answers.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah. And we in the basement, it was very much answered. There's some houses we can't talk about the people.
Sure.
We had an investigation on the east side of Jefferson City in a historic house there. That was probably our best Spirit Box session, just because it was like names that like people. It was real names between people. Like it was somebody having a conversation with somebody else.
So the person who lived there
had a conversation with somebody who was dead.
Was it something that was like haunting them, or was it like a family member?
So no, it was a friend. It was a friend that had passed away. So like I said, it's not generally the place.
Far out.
It's I know now if you're talking about like the Waverly Sanatorium or MSP or Governor's Meet, yeah, that place is going to be haunted. But at least from what I've seen, it's usually somebody's following you around.
Yeah, right.
Somebody's comfortable around you, or I mean, we think about it in the ways that some of us are taught. You know, we have guardian angels. Well, all a guardian angel is somebody who's passed away. So why couldn't it not be that?
So the crazy thing with that is like whenever Erin opened up her grooming salon coming from Petco, her and some other people, there was a ghost there. She showed me a video to where a pencil rolls like 5 or 6 inches. And again, she's about like me. She's like, the door wasn't open, so there was no wind. She placed it back where it was at and kind of played with a little bit to see if it would roll, and it wouldn't roll or whatever. And she's telling me about this, and she's like, yeah, we think that the place is haunted, or that we have a ghost there, and his name is Henry. And I just looked at her, I go, what gave you the name Henry? And she's just like, that's just the name that we gave it. I was like, well, that was my great-grandfather's name. So I was like, I mean, Henry's a pretty common name, but it was just kind of weird that that happened.
It followed her.
Yeah, so then they shut down. They shut down, and she moved to the house, and she still had experiences. She had a door. She's got this like half door. It wasn't properly like set up, but even then, it was like it would take some force, or the it's locked into the island where the computer's at. So if she would lean on that, sometimes it would come unlocked. But there's been times to where nobody's around it, and that sucker will just pop open. So we're like,
where does Erin stand on whether or not she believes?
Oh, she's a full-on believer.
She believes, because she's it's kind of crazy that the team has come together like it has, because you have Matt that's you're pretty like solid on everything. I mean, you believe, but you're not like.
Oh yeah, I don't run around like crap. We're not that team that runs around with like it's a ghost. That's that George guy we read about. Like that's not us.
Yeah. And then Jacqueline being the medium, Erin has some empathic, abilities. She'll just all of a sudden just feel like crap, or she'll feel something.
That's how I am.
Or she will smell it. As weird as it is, we were everywhere we go. There's something that smells. Right. Like we were walking through one of the we do a lot of cemetery work. 'Cause that's where you hone your skills. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I smell like somebody's doing laundry. Mm-hmm. I'm like, we're in the middle of a graveyard.
Yeah, and I was just like, there was
nobody's doing laundry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or pipes, or cigarettes, or food related stuff. So she feels and she smells, and that's a whole nother. So there's a whole bunch of Claires. I don't know. The Jacqueline could educate you guys like with her eyes closed on this. But there's several different Claires, and she falls upon a different couple different categories of it. Like there's people who hear stuff, see stuff, feel stuff, smell stuff, experience stuff.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize there were people that could actually smell and just have that kind of overall like sensation. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we one of the first times we investigated, it was a perfume that she originally smelled. And she was drawn to a grave because of that smell. And it was a lady. We have no way of connecting some of this stuff, and we're not gonna call people and be like, "Hey, did so and so wear Stetson?"
Yeah.
Jakar.
Right.
Be like, yes, it'd be like, cool, thanks, click. Be like,
right.
What the hell was that about?
Well, my grandfather loved Old Spice. I don't know.
We've blown a couple people's minds though. We say that we laugh about it, but we've made some people cry. We had a mother, and she was out of St. Louis. She's actually a police chief, an assistant police chief in St. Louis. She cried and blocked us. She won't talk to us. No, her son got hit by a car in Columbia. And we have him on EVP saying his name and that he got hit by a car. We didn't know him. Like we were just at MU. It was one night we were sober. Because I don't drink, and we were up there to have dinner. We have date night like almost every Wednesday, and we go up and she's like, you got to try these Columbia restaurants because I've never really had any of them. Right. And she's like, I was like, well, let's go to the Quads because I know Thomas Jefferson's original grave's there. Let's run some EVPs or whatever. And so we do. I've actually got something on tape saying that he is Thomas Jefferson. Not sure if it is, and it's actually pretty cool. Anyways, we go over to Union. And
where is his original? Well, the
original headstone is at the Quads at MU.
Cool. Where's that at though? I'm not familiar with that area.
I don't know. I'm not a Columbia guy. But
it's Columbia. Okay.
So it's Columbia. So yeah, it asks for the Quad. Google it. Okay, it'll take you right there.
All right.
It's right in the Quads. It's off to the left.
I didn't know that.
Interesting, man.
So it's his original headstone. He did the Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah.
University of Missouri was the first university west of the Mississippi.
Right.
So whenever he passed away, he actually got moved from where he was buried to DC.
Right.
And when he got moved, his family donated his original headstone. You get that one word to the university. So they actually have it. It's encased in plexiglass because all the riots or whatever.
Right.
But it's still there. It's still pretty powerful. A few blocks away is the student union. It's where all the student clubs and whatever is. There's also an old church that's there. and we're just walking around with voice recorders, and with her, she's trying to figure out her mediumship, and she catches vibes, and she gets full body chills, and she gets goosebumps, and she's like, okay, there's somebody here with us. So she asks a name. I'm not going to repeat it, but it was a name, very specific name that I was able to Google off of an EVP.
Cool.
And so as I'm Googling, she's still listening, and she's like, oh, and he was hit by a car. And I was like, what? So I Googled this guy's name, and I swear to God, I'll send you the name off camera to prove this. It's this kid got hit by a car and died.
So did you contact his mother?
So she struggled a little bit, and she's like, okay.
So you guys went out and contacted her.
So we actually did send her a message on Facebook, and we're like, look, we don't want anything from you.
Yeah.
But we want to let you know, because he came back and said, I'm okay. I'm on the other side. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to, because...
You wanted to let her know.
Right. Well, the way she felt was like mom was probably... She thought mom was going through like... Again, this is part of her mediumship thing. She thought mom was going through like a real bad time. It was right before Christmas.
She needed to know.
She needed to know.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah.
So she reached out to her and she said, hey, my name's Jacqueline. I'm not trying to get anything from you. Here's what we got. She sent her the stuff. And the lady talked to her a couple times and then blocked her.
Yeah.
And she's so it is what it is.
Yeah.
But so now we're more
Yeah.
on.
I'm with you.
Let's keep talking about more investigations.
Absolutely.
Coming up. I want to talk about that Confederate mass grave in Callaway County. I saw on your Facebook, guys.
That's one of my favorite investigations for sure. Calwood.
I want to talk about. It was like also Calwood. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
But let's talk about that coming up, man. Because you guys have. We could talk all night if we want to. If you're in town, stop by Last Flight Brewing Company.
That's right
there on Heisinger Road.
What are we drinking tonight, Matty?
We are drinking the Irish Red again.
Oh, it's delicious.
I gave Will some over there. Will, do you like it?
It's delish.
It is delish. Growlers, you can take them back, get them refilled. $15 to $20 a refill, depending on what beer it is. But we are enjoying ours right now.
Absolutely. So
since our last episode, we had the audio problems. I want to give Studio 573 another shout out.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we got that on our last episode.
I don't think we did, man.
All those people out there that Jesse works out with, they've all been listening to us. So thank you guys for all the love. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we will be back right after this.
Your memories. Pregnancy, kids growing up, family, senior year of high school, getting engaged. You want to keep those moments forever. But the problem with most photographers is they decide which moments you keep. They'll sell you a single picture or a big all-inclusive package that might include photos you don't want at a cost that's outside of your budget. That's why I don't. You decide. A single photo, a single hour, you choose. You get all of your edited photos, everything, at Andrew Marie Photography. You get quality photos at prices you can afford. After all, they're your memories. Find us on Facebook, Andrew Marie Photography and Custom Design.
Welcome back to the old 77.
It's a safe place.
In an unsafe world.
So we were talking about an upcoming investigation, fellas. And about, Matt, you brought up a cemetery?
Yes, I did. I was talking to Matt over here, and the Confederate mass grave.
Well, so no, it's actually, here's where most people make the mistake.
So where
it
is
is not a Confederate mass grave. It is a mass grave that is half Union troops and half Confederate troops just thrown in together.
It's a Civil War.
Oh, it's just like a mass.
It's a mass grave.
Okay,
yes.
gotcha.
It's got about 35 or 45 soldiers in it.
Wow.
So how did all these guys die?
So there was a battle at Calwood in Callaway County. Callaway County was known as Little Dixie. All around it was Union supporters. So Jeff City was Union. Montgomery County was Union. Boone County, obviously, Union. Callaway County, though, had a lot of people that moved from Alabama and Louisiana to Callaway County, So they were Southern. So they were Southern supporters and sympathizers.
Right.
So they had a very heavy Confederate presence. So there were a lot of skirmishes in Callaway County. One of the biggest was whenever they went to finally take Callaway County. It was a very bloody battle. It went from Avaz all the way into Fulton, and hundreds of soldiers died in this process. It's actually called the Trail of Gray Ghosts. If anybody wants to Google it and kind of read about it.
Cool.
I actually bought the old book, which it's really fascinating. But at Calwood itself, it was 110 degrees in July and August when these battles are going on, and the two captains on the Confederate side and one on the Union side, they had so many losses that they actually came together and had a meeting. There was no truce, but what they did was they cleaned up all the bodies because there were so many bodies. This just happens to be a spot. It's literally just a spot off of the side of the road that has a fence around it. Jacqueline's like, hey, we're going to go check this place out one day. I'm like, cool. Awesome. Let's go. And it's on somebody's property.
So these bodies haven't been like removed or anything?
Oh no, they're still there. The University of Missouri did a full ground penetrating radar thing.
No one's done an archaeological study though?
No, they won't. They refuse to do it because the owner of the property will not let them do it. He doesn't. Well, they're there. They have the proof from I don't know what the technology's called, shorthand, but that radar system that looks in ground. They know through historical documents that is where it was at. So that road has been there forever. That goes through Calwood.
So they're buried underneath the road, or
next to it, directly next to it.
Directly next to it.
It was a gravel. It was a gravel dirt road back in the day.
Okay.
So this was the main. Yes, right there. There's.
Dave's got it pulled up here.
Bam. So there's more to it than that. There's some really cool, fascinating stuff. But with Calwood itself was just one of these battles. And so it's hot. There's disease. These bodies are literally just rotting right there.
Yeah.
So they order soldiers to open a grave, throw them all in, cover it up, don't mark it, bounce.
That was it.
And that was it. There's another mass grave up the road, but it's way more organized. It's actually headstones and da-da-da-da-da.
Sure.
This one, it's literally enemies thrown on top of each other. I think there was more Union than Confederate. They have a huge headstone. It's like 5 foot tall. It's got all the names on it. It's got a American flag and another flag. No Confederate flags. That's the guy that owns the property. He's anti that. Anyways, she's like, let's go. And me being the extrovert that I am, I'm just up at the guy's door knocking on, like, hey, we're going to come over here and investigate this. You care? He's like, man, I hear shit down there all the time.
Does he really?
Yeah, and he's like, go down there. He's like, we hear cannons every night. Cannons. Well, they fought in the field, in his field. Wow. That led up to this spot. Like, when they did come in with that radar.
So his house was there when.
No. So not his house.
Land.
That's the property.
Well, I thought maybe he lived in this
a trailer that was the top of the hill.
19th century farmhouse. Or
no,
something.
It was a trailer next to a garage. Really nice one. Okay. I'll give him credit for that. It wasn't like it's
a nice trailer.
It was a nice modular home. And he's a retiree. He's probably in his 80s. Really nice old guy. He was very much like, anytime you want to come investigate. So that's what we did.
Cannons going on.
Cool, yeah, we heard it, man. It was cannons go. Oh yeah. You hear gunshots and cannons going off.
My sleep apnea.
Right, for sure. Well, the problem is we weren't set up yet.
So I was just going to ask you.
We didn't catch any of it.
You need to go back.
Oh no, we'll be going back for sure. It's just with it being so cold, we don't. We're good.
Seriously though, next time you guys go out on one, hit me up. I'll come with you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'll take some audio and bring it back for the show. Of course, you guys can come back and we can talk about it too.
For sure, we'll have to find a super maybe the Halloween show.
So when you guys investigated that,
well, speaking of, you guys are looking for a place for the Halloween show, right?
We are. Can I finish Calwood though?
Yeah,
there's
please
one
do.
thing I want to talk about. So we have this motion activated ball that we've been talking about, right? Calwood's one of the first investigations that we do. We actually do Calwood before we do Hobo Hill. It's a short little investigation. We were only there an hour and a half.
Sure, yeah.
That ball we had used on everything else. Nothing ever happened. I put that ball down on the ground, solid ground. No wind. You can hear it in the microphones. I walk 20 feet away by my camera, and Jacqueline is standing on the other side taking pictures, and it's right at dusk. And I'm that guy that over communicates. When I get nervous, it's just what it is. And I'm telling these spirits, hey, this is what this is. This is how you use it. And that's when we actually got our first hit on that ball. That ball went off multiple times. I was asking questions, the whole 9 yards. The video is on our YouTube page. Go look at it. Go watch it. I get so excited. I make fun of myself. I'm like, you have a kid that I don't know if you have kids or not. First time your kid does something, you get so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it was, because it was the first time someone was like, all right, now that's how you do that.
Yeah.
And it kept going. So it was like, all right, cool. And so that was the first time that really was like, okay, this is cool. So what you're watching is the whole thing. There actually should be one of just me with the ball. And I have them mostly done in playlists. So it should just be...
So if people want to see your YouTube page, they can just literally just go to YouTube and type in Jefferson City Paranormal Society.
We're not cool enough to get our own.
Neither are we, man.
You gotta have like 50,000.
It's a ridiculous amount, right?
Right.
So you have to have so many hours logged.
Right. So what you're looking here, this is the mass grave itself.
Oh, okay.
So they have a fence around it, right? So up top you see that's one of the motion activated balls. I actually eventually move it down onto the ground.
That thing that's on top of that post?
That thing that's on top of the
right
post,
here,
yeah. So the other thing that I did was, so this is the mass grave. It's got a fence around it. I actually threw a couple of my portable power packs just on the ground, thinking, you know what, if we can give it energy, because we hear about it ghost draining batteries frequently.
Which it's done quite a few times.
Right, so I move it down, and in my hand that you can see there, so that's actually a digital EMF, and it does voltometer, and it does temperature. I don't like it. I don't use it anymore because it turns itself off every 10 minutes, and it's really annoying.
Hey, next time, don't stand in front of your camera.
Well, no, this is because I was talking to Jacqueline. We weren't really caring on this one yet because we knew we were going to do some stuff with it. So what we were doing is I was trying to get the angle right because I knew I was going to put that ball on the ground. So I wanted to make sure that we could show the entire pit, and then show that ball. So it'll probably be closer to the end. Somewhere in there, where you're just gonna have to kind of skip forward. Yeah. You'll see it eventually. I have it cut out somewhere or another. Anyways, the ball lights up. We get orbs in all of our pictures. Jacqueline is got a guy that keeps peeking his head around the corner from behind a tree. That she's feeling. It is just, and then out of nowhere, so she's normally, Jacqueline, I love you. You're gonna hear this. She's normally, a little pasty, but, she's got color to her. Dude, she went from the color she had to, white. Whoa. So, her eyes underneath got black, and she just went white. It drained her entire energy to the point where it freaked her out, and we had to, leave. We had to immediately pack up and leave because she almost passed out. And then, she called Aaron. Aaron and her, they talk each other through it because they both kind of have this similar talent. So, and with that, so it took her 3 or 4 days to recover. It literally drained her energy just that fast.
Wow.
Do you guys have a theory on what may have happened?
So what we think are, and it's not just we, it's the paranormal people in general.
The community as a whole?
The community as a whole believes that very intelligent spirits have figured out how to manipulate energy. And they can take your energy from you, and use it to do things. So what we didn't realize was, as her energy was draining, the ball was going off. So it was taking her energy and using it to move that ball, because the ball was just going off. When you watch the video, the ball is moving.
Makes sense.
So something's moving it. It takes a lot of energy, from our understanding of things. As far as ghosts go, it takes a lot of energy to do that. It usually takes a very powerful ghost to do that, a powerful spirit, per se, because ghost is a weird term, but spirit is probably a better term for it.
That's what a lot of the people that have sleep paralysis experiences say that they feel like is going on, is that these beings are literally feeding off of their energy, feeding off of their fear.
That's why they can't move right then.
And that's what people, right or wrong, that's what people come out of the experience a lot of times feeling like, is that they are being literally, used.
Just
they
drained.
literally are feeding off of people's fear.
Yeah, just drained.
Yep.
So that makes sense to me, man. That was kind of what it felt like for me.
Right. And now when we go into an investigation, so we still haven't figured out what it means. We had a psychic tell me that I'm a white light. We don't know what it means as far as us as a group. But what I can tell you is that things don't generally affect me at all.
Mm-hmm.
They even mess with Will. They just do not affect me. And I'm a very upbeat, positive person, and they think it's because of that. And so, we'll have the EVP out, for example. I have to leave for people to talk. I'll walk around mine voice recorder for 3 hours, and I don't get anything. And the minute I leave, it lights up. So we don't know the whole behind it. So a lot of
the times is like whenever we set up is like we'll have like Matt or Jacqueline will go off and me and Aaron will go off, and then we'll switch up rooms to see what happens. And of course we won't exchange information and be like, oh well, we heard this, because then you're like, if you hear something, your mind's gonna think that you may have heard that as well. So we keep everything to ourselves until the end of it.
Yeah.
But most of the time it'll be Aaron and Jacqueline that get the most hits. I think me and
when
Aaron
they're
got
together,
a few,
they're like a lightning
We'll
rod.
do that, and then for like the finale, be like, all right, Jacqueline and Aaron, like go do
Right,
your
we're
thing,
like-
and then like get us everything. So
Right, and we'll go into a room like, all right, here's the next boring 30 minutes.
yeah, and we get absolutely nothing.
So, guys, tell me about this other cemetery you were talking about.
So Riverview Cemetery, it's where we hone our skills. We go in there and when we start, we say, we're here to talk to the people that are still here. We're not here to bug anybody that's at rest.
This is the one that's on Industrial?
Not Industrial. It's
whatever the road is that turns into Country Club, right?
No, it's
no.
that's Resurrection. No, it's the one. It's the one that's on the same road as Memorial Pool.
Oh, okay.
So it's the one that's down. It's like across from Hauser Millard.
Okay.
Where the big white carriage is.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Right.
I
So
got you.
it's that one.
Yeah.
So that's where we kind of hone our skills. We're there frequently. We don't ever disturb anybody. We're not kicking headstones over. We're very respectful. But this is where we've probably gotten 90% of our EVPs. It's where we run into basically anything and everything that's strong. We've run into it out there, from getting creepy EVPs to getting kids. We were talking about earlier. They have a children's section.
Yeah, so while we're on the kids, it was like, because Aaron wasn't wanting to go down there. Jacqueline,
she didn't want to go either.
She didn't want to go, and you were like, and I'm like, just like headed straight down. I was like, "Where's the kids?" Over here.
No, he's like, "It's over here. Let's just go on down there."
So I went over there, and I was messing with, because again, it was one of our first hunts, and had the temperature gauge on one of the things, and from being probably 30, 40 feet away to walking into the kids' cemetery, it dropped 7 or 8 degrees, I think it was.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's crazy, because I've worked at the prison to where it was like, I step out of my house and it was like, oh, it's a nice, decent, warm day.
Yep.
And you get to the prison by the river and you're like, okay, it's cold. So I've experienced stuff like that, but within 60 feet,
Yeah.
like that was crazy.
And that's so common when people have those experiences, is that they get that cold breeze, that cold feeling.
Right.
So they finally came down, and Jacqueline had seen kids
in the
running.
tree line.
Yeah, in the tree line, like peeking out and stuff. I went around and was recording at the time, and you play to your audience.
This dude's over here singing like "Row, row, row your boat" to the kids.
So I was like, I'm going to start singing. I'm like, "Row, row,
smart,
row your
right?
boat."
Oh, very. Yeah.
Rockabye
Just to
baby
see
and
if they
shit.
would be like gently down the hill, because I was like, and I came back and I was like, I started singing "Row, row, row your boat," but I will always let them be like,
Finish.
let them finish on the stuff. So if you hear anything after that, like mine is clear as day.
Okay.
And I don't think we got anything.
We didn't get anything with that, but we did get stuff while we were down there. We got a kid saying Jesus, and we got sadly we got one that said help. We weren't a big fan of that. That one did kind of tear us up for a little bit. We haven't been back since, just because, it's a heart-wrenching thing.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
like, we're talking kids. We're not talking like 18-year-old kids. We're talking like 12-year-old kids, 10-year-old kids.
One of the things I was like, I understand that people don't want to. You just kind of want to leave kids be, but they might have a story to tell as well. So,
of course,
I think you mentioned earlier, it was like you just the quality of everything you're wanting to tell a story. It was like they deserve that as much as anybody.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Right. So we did. I mean, we did the investigation down there, and we got We got a little bit of evidence. I haven't put the kid stuff out on there yet.
Yeah,
because
I get it.
Well, the dates that are out there on those graves, those parents are still around.
I would say they're still around. Yeah.
I don't want somebody to hear
Yeah,
their kid
it's a good point.
say help.
It's funny because out of all the, like, I'm drawn to cemeteries. I love going to cemeteries, go everywhere. There used to be a bunch of old ones out in the country that I would love to stumble across.
Our favorite one is a little one out in the country.
Those are the best, man. I have this one back in Illinois that's on top of a hill. It's fantastic. There's family members buried there,
Generations
out of all the
people
cemeteries in Jeff City, I always go to that one.
It's the most haunted one.
The one that you're talking about, and I never know why.
So
and that's interesting.
As I was telling you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and just tell a story. It's on old Indian burial grounds in the first place. The reason why it's called Riverview is because it was a high point. Before they started putting houses in, you could see the Missouri River from there.
Yeah.
And that is where they always put Indian mounds. There's Indian mounds literally from Rocheport to the confluence of the Osage Missouri River on the bluffs all the way down. Wow. There is not a spot where there isn't some kind of mound. And I worked for DNR, and I worked in the same building as state parks, and I know about the archaeological digs. I can tell you that is 100% real. They were always doing digs at those mounds. So there's definitely something there. So one night we're out and we're investigating, and it's a cemetery, so it's set up like cemetery. Everything got long rows.
What time is this?
It's probably like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Okay,
so it's not super late.
Yeah.
We're not tired.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody's sober. Everybody's in their right mind.
Right.
It's not like we went out drinking beforehand.
I don't know about right mind, but we're sober.
Yeah, close enough. But close enough. So this was pre-planned. So we have all of our equipment out.
Mm-hmm.
I have an IR high def camcorder that I've got with me. And we've got the little cat ball. We've got our flashlights. The girls have voice recorders. I think you may have had a voice recorder. He sees what may be a shadow off in the distance. So we go chasing after it. Mm-hmm. And we get about 3/4 of the way down this row. And we are 2 rows off of the road, running parallel to a road that's in the cemetery. And it's actually a concrete road. Mm-hmm. So it's not like it's a gravel road or anything like that. And we stop basically under a streetlight. If you go watch the video, you don't have to right now. When you go watch the video, you'll see the video's called "My Oh Shit Moment," I think.
You were talking about this earlier.
Yeah. So when you watch that video, you'll see I'm actually pointed at a light. I am super close to it. Will is literally standing 2 or 3 graves over. We're looking for this entity. I hear running coming up across the street. There's deer in there all the time. So we're like, okay. I literally all right, cool, it's deer. As I'm watching these 3 deer, the biggest one is a buck, and it's a big buck. I mean, like 10-foot tall buck. That's when I'm like, okay, this is something weird to this, because usually they're not that tall.
Not 10 feet tall.
Right, as it gets close, it's got orange eyes. It literally transforms into a man, and I can clearly remember it. It was an Indian. It was a Native American. No one called me Indian. It was a Native American, long black hair. You could tell what it was. Orange eyes still. Jesus. And then it never stopped running. And as a man, he ran as fast as the other 2 deer with him. They never slowed down. It's not like he stopped at me and winked. He just kept running. And he ran literally right past the light. I have the camcorder on what I thought I was seeing the entire time. He goes back transforms into a deer. They take off and they're gone. I'm like, okay, cool. I got this on camera.
Wow.
I got my buddy Will literally standing next to me, like
looking the other way.
But it doesn't matter, because if 3 deer run behind you and your buddy says, "Oh shit,"
yeah,
I'm sure you turn around and look. Will, what'd you see? Nothing. There's nothing on my camcorder. There's no noise, no footsteps, no nothing. I pulled audio out of that thing every which way I could. I was pulling audio from the girls down the road, trying to hope that I could hear a deer run by.
Yeah.
I could not get anything. I downloaded 3 different software programs. So I'm like, VLC and then something else. And so I'm like, I'm going to get this. And I could not get any audio off of it. So that was my aha moment. Like, okay, there's something that is like seriously different about this place.
Yeah.
We investigate several different cemeteries. Never have I had anything happen like that. I've had ghost experiences my whole life. Nothing.
Are there houses? Obviously, there has to be just houses built on Indian burial ground, right?
Yeah. So there's actually one
Native American.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever. We can say in Indian. It's just slang. Yeah, there's actually one in Osage City. I don't want to say where it's at. The owner, if they hear this, they're going to know immediately. They found bones underneath their fireplace.
Oh my God.
So DNR did an actual archaeological dig. DNR, not some we paid. Right. DNR took the bones to the University of Missouri St. Louis. That's where their high-powered whatever machine is that does the date testing.
Huh.
And it was DNA tested as Native American, as Osage Indian, and they even had the date that was like in the 1700s that the bones were from. And this house was buried built on top of them.
So there's other bodies
underneath it. Yeah,
underneath
for
this
sure.
house.
Oh, and the house is haunted as hell from what I understand.
Is it really?
Yeah, but
hard to believe, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But from what the owner tells me is they've come to peace with it, and now it's more like residual as compared to smart.
Sure.
So they'll hear drums beating or they'll hear chanting.
Yeah.
But it's not like there's
they're not terrorizing.
Violent activity going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody's trying to harm anybody. It just
Right.
sounds like it's crazy, and it's around here. Missouri's not that old.
As far as Jefferson City are there any houses built on Indian burial ground?
I don't know about houses on Indian burial ground. I'd say if there was, it would be on the east side of town up by like Daisy Delight.
Yeah, I guess
like
you're
old St. Louis Road.
Yeah.
Because they're built up on a bluff.
Yeah, they are.
And
that's some of the early stuff too back in there. You'd have been out in the country then.
Right. So if there is, that's it. I know that there is a mound. So remember, mound builders is what was in this area. Mm-hmm. There is a mound. Nobody talks about it. You can actually see it on satellite if you look enough. It is on Bald Hill Road in Greenberry, back in that area.
Okay.
There's never been property built back there. You're not allowed to go back there. It's actually an MOA that was assigned, that is signed by everybody that buys property in that neighborhood. That nobody's allowed to go back there, and it is an old Indian burial ground.
Oh.
And there's like bodies in it, and they did an archaeological dig back in the day, and that's what it is.
Wow.
My buddy grew up there. Well, old buddy grew up there, and I actually got to see the document.
Man,
how about that?
Like
the houses around there, like that are kind of next to it. Is there any activity there? You think?
I don't know. I maybe, but
I mean, if you're near something like that, would you have activity? You think?
I mean, you could.
In your professional opinion,
my amateur opinion, it could absolutely be possible.
Hey, you know a lot. You know a lot more than I do.
Right.
You know a lot more than I do, Matt.
Right, but so yeah, no, there's things that amplify activity. Running water is a big amplifier. Any place we've ever been that had like a drainage or
water's a huge conductor
of electricity and energy. So that's
interesting.
A big one for us, anyways.
That goes back to mystics and magic as well.
Right. Huh. Well, it's old as time, right? Like what got me started on the water thing was Bobby Mackey's. Watching, I don't know if you've ever seen like the 5 different investigators that have ever been there. They have a well above or underneath Bobby Mackey's. That place haunted as hell. I would never step foot in there. That's how haunted that place is.
Really?
Where's this place at?
Yeah, I was gonna say where is it at?
It's in East Alton, Illinois. It's like in the ghetto.
But like it's super fucking like
super
fucking activity.
Hey, you know where you guys should also go that I've heard is haunted in Jeff City, and it's on kind of the east side of town? The Mission. Did you guys know that the Mission is haunted?
I didn't know the Mission's haunted, so here's the deal.
You need to talk to Jenny. I know Jenny.
Well, if you know Jenny, you need to hit Jenny up. So here's the problem that we have, and it happens to us all the time.
Catholics.
We Catholics. Right. I call up.
Damn Catholics.
Right. I call up the owner of so and so. Did you know there's an entire downtown underneath downtown Jeff City?
I didn't know that.
So what they did was they built it up so that things could be raised up. It's an old Roman whatever, right, theory. Mm-hmm. So there is actually like High Street is another High Street underneath High Street.
But it's not like you can walk down to it or
yes,
anything.
There is.
What?
Yes. So there is an art shop. I don't want to piss anybody off.
Cotton Stone Gallery.
No, it's a self art shop.
I know
Okay.
Hold on.
I have
is
no
the place
idea.
across?
Oh wait,
it's next to that place with that guy.
Yeah,
with
the guy.
right. Yeah.
So they actually have a big arm. If you go into their basement, they have a big armoire up against the wall. So I'm very astute and I notice everything. And as we're walking down with our things to go paint, I'm like, that's a door that goes outside. I know that kind of door. My dad was a construction worker.
Yeah.
Like he owned his own business. Billy owned his own business forever.
Yeah, I remember Billy.
I know what an outside door looks like. That's an outside door on the inside. And and there's a big, huge armoire sitting up against it.
Cool.
And I'm like, all right, somebody's scared of something. Why else would you put that there?
No shit.
So I start talking to the manager, and she's like, yeah, that goes to the old Jeff City street. And so I'm like, I want to talk to your owner. Owner refuses to talk to me, Catholic. Her husband refuses to talk to me, Catholic. But there is access to that old road that is still cobblestone and is still there.
Wow.
And it's the old actual storefronts of all the stores.
Were you were you
cool.
able to confirm that
so
all of what you just said? Were you able to confirm that through other people that
through the person that told me no?
Yeah,
They stuck their head in and they said they have put a padlock on it because what they felt. They put a padlock on it, they put something in front of it, and they have experiences there.
That's what they told
because
you.
another place that we want to go to, they was like, no, you can't come into us because we don't want to get the spirits riled up.
Right. And I'm
like,
actually
we know the place is haunted. Just be quiet.
I'm going to drop that name because I want in there. Patty Malone's.
Oh,
Oldest pub west of the Mississippi.
Absolutely.
So,
it is.
Is it really?
Oh yeah. There are so many stories going on. They have a sub basement. They have a second floor apartment. The stories of that place, it's endless.
Yeah.
Was it like a brothel back?
You can
in the
just
day?
brothel.
feel
It was
it.
a speakeasy in the basement.
Wow.
They did all
Through
of their
Prohibition
bootlegging.
and
Yep,
all
they did
that.
all the
So
bootlegging through there.
Get out.
Said my two magic words.
Which one?
Oh, I guess speakeasy was 2 words.
Oh,
3
okay.
words. Speakeasy and brothel.
So it's all these things. Yeah, the owner literally said, no, we don't want you to pick.
I know who you're
to
talking
kick
about.
up.
Yeah.
What's
Don't
going
kick
on.
anything.
I mean,
up.
people that know him and that he would trust, which is like, hey, we got some people. They're totally respectful of your property and of what we would kick up and stuff like that. And he's like, I don't.
Don't want to do it. Yeah.
Right. Like
So I
a
mean,
big
I
house.
understand
do
it. But
they
if
have-
anybody's out there listening, like, talk to him again.
So
Love you guys.
we don't even know.
Absolutely,
we don't
man.
even know if they have any activity right now. Like they could have.
Oh, at Patty Malone's?
Yeah, like-
Oh no, they have activity.
They have consistent activity.
Oh, I would put massive amounts of money that they every single day.
I mean, think about the people that died there, probably.
Right.
Back in the day. I'm talking like
So we're-
1800s.
So we're
now.
talking. This is one of the oldest parts of all of Jeff City.
Well, not even necessarily died there. Like maybe this was some important part of their
Yeah,
life
that's
that
true.
happened
Yeah.
there. You
The
know,
good
and it
times.
imprints.
Right, the good
A
times,
comfortable
right.
place.
And it's we have one smart or intelligent spirit that can really mess with things, right, and open doors and this and that. You could have 50 residuals.
Wow.
That is just residual haunting is just like a snapshot, a moment of life.
Yeah.
Of something that it can be good or bad. So it's just something that had a lot of energy to it.
Yeah.
So like me proposing to my wife was a lot of energy.
Yeah.
That itself could implant itself
Right.
in the spot where that happened, just because it was so much energy.
Yeah.
So a lot of times like hauntings like that, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be one intelligent, two intelligent, mixed with a lot of this residual.
And just look at the location Patty's was at. The old bridge was right there.
Right.
So as soon as you come into Jeff,
That's
Right.
the
if
first
you're
place.
hungry or you want a beer,
Yeah.
boom.
That was it. Right. That was
Park up the coach right here.
Well, and we were talking earlier too. That was a place that everything happened, so there was a lot of activity there, a lot of energy.
Right.
You know,
and there's been a
expelled.
lot of death in that building.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of stabbings in that building. a
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
lot
sure
of
there has
shootings.
a couple of shootings,
Wild West,
poker
man.
games,
Yep,
and
poker
shit.
games. Yeah, well, it was a speakeasy. I mean, it was an underground. That's where all the seedy people went.
Right.
So Water Street. We don't know. We're the younger generation.
Yeah.
Water Street ran from the back of the side of the Capitol where the mill bottom is.
Yeah.
So that used to. There's a parking lot now for Truman. That was all buildings, and it was Water Street, and it ran to Patty Malone's, and that was central Jefferson City. And
The
then
original mainland.
The original like downtown.
Downtown, yeah.
And then it flooded real bad, and they moved it all.
Yeah.
Oh, makes sense.
So we our minds don't connect the fact that Patty Malone's was at the time like the
Right in the
place
middle
of
of
Jeff City.
everything, yeah.
It was up on top of the hill.
It was
They got to
downtown.
see
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
It was the place.
And
So-
Water Street explains it probably flooded a lot there. It was probably always wet when people pulled up with their coaches, their horse and coach. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, I mean, it was
It's in
probably
the floodplain.
If you can ever watch an old western, the streets were muddy.
Yep.
And probably was always wet and nasty there.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, I would say less likely up top by Patty Malone's.
No, I'm talking about like that main.
Yes, more likely down low.
That main downtown area.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because you had Loman's Landing.
Yeah.
But you had that whole area that was a landing technically. Yeah. Where ships would come across or ferries or whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of energy down there. So Patty's, we went in. I'm just saying, there's a lot of places right there.
Did you ever go in there with your wife and just sit there having a beer and have her like dial in?
Does she perk up and
no shit, like a peacock, right? She'd be like, "Whoa, this is way too much."
We may or may not visit locations just to do that.
Yeah, of course.
We're gonna do a couple sneak attacks. I'm not gonna call them sneak attacks. We're gonna go into the Capitol.
Yeah.
They can't kick us out.
No, I mean,
absolutely not.
You go into Patty's and you buy a beer or two.
Right.
Yeah,
and we're going to go in the Capitol. We know several people have died in the Capitol. So we're not going to go office to office. We're going to walk around voice recorders off hours. We're going to do some stuff there. We've got a lot of different stuff that we're just going to kind of like ambush do.
Right.
Nothing crazy. We're not going to get kicked out of places.
Right, no.
And we're going to be respectful. We're
absolutely.
We're not that people that riles everything up.
So how does that work with your wife? Like, is it a thing like where she can tune into it herself, or does it just come when it wants to come?
It smacks her in her face, bro.
Uh-huh.
So we set ground rules initially. So I'm a Christian. I have a firm belief in Christ, and I know that Christ protects me. So it's whatever you believe, right? Whatever higher power you believe in. So one of the very first things I did was I set a very definitive limit. Nobody's allowed on my property unless they're family. They're there to do good things. So we don't have hauntings. We have one. We know two. We know who they are. We know what they're there for. My dad passed away. I still have his ashes. He comes and visits me occasionally. Jacqueline actually feels him and experiences him. There's another one I'm not going to talk about. I'll let Jacqueline talk about it if she wants to. That we know why he's there. We know what it is.
Yeah, we have those.
But she'll. So we had to go buy a darkening curtain in our bedroom, and there are nights where she's like, "Matt, you have to go close the curtain." There'll be people on the sidewalk yelling at her.
Get out
of here! Like, hey, come talk to us. I don't want to give away her employer, but she works at a place where she has to go to different buildings around Jeff City, and there will be kids and or adults that try to talk to her. So she had to set a limit there. Outside of that, though, there's no limits, man. We'll be in a restaurant eating, and she'll get hit with chills. We'll be out painting things at the painting place because we go there quite frequently.
Well, last time that we had dinner, she was talking about and was like, "Well, there's somebody standing over your shoulder." It was like there's a Daniel, and I was like, "Okay." So I had a friend that passed away, Daniel, and he was like, "Well, he's in the military," and I was like, "Well, I didn't know a Daniel while I was in," but then that's been like 3 weeks ago, and just like 3 or 4 days ago, I was like, he was in the Army, but we weren't stationed anywhere together, and I was like, it didn't click until later.
Wow. Interesting.
So I was like, okay.
Yeah, and that happens. It happens really frequently. We it's a 50-50. So if I'm in a good mood, I'll talk to people and I'll be like, all right, here's what's going on. And and there's times where it's like, we're just having dinner, and she'll get the goosebumps and she'll just look at me and giggle, and it's like, all right, we're not really gonna do anything about it, just because it can be very life altering.
Sure.
People don't think about that part of it.
Yeah. Is she a very like empathic person?
Oh yeah. Very.
I'm like that, man. Like I pick up on energy, and it's not always a good thing.
Right. No, for sure. So, are we good for another long story, or are we going to do a break soon? Or
let's do a break now if you want.
Let's do a break, and then we'll come back with the long story.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Falcon home in Fulton. This is our demon house.
This is the demon.
Is this a trophy? This is a trophy story here.
It's just it's an everything story.
Oh, hell yeah!
All right, we won't forget it.
So if you guys would like to, pick up and become a part of this show, feel free to jump on patreon.com/the old 77 podcast.
Yeah.
There for, what is it, Dave? $5?
$5.
A cup of coffee a month. You can get access to this show like right now.
Less than a cup of Starbucks
Please
coffee.
send the money now. We need it desperately.
We can feed the kids, let me tell you.
That's what
Look
we're
at the
doing
flies on that face. Come on.
Wearing a 1995 Bulls championship shirt or something.
You too, for $10 a month. Can support Dave's habits.
You can support poor radio, guys. All right, so we're coming back with some creepy shit on the other side.
Absolutely.
Guys. Talk to you soon. Bitches.
Now you and the games are one. Everything else is child's play.
Welcome back to the old 77.
It's a safe place.
An unsafe world.
It's very unsafe in here tonight.
Segment 3. This is the show that just keeps on going because we're not going to run out of shit.
This is the gift that keeps
about.
on giving right here.
This is a great show, by the way.
Yeah, so I should have not looked and seen what time it was, but I don't care.
If you're still with us,
I'll make my own
it's
hours.
been a great one so far.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
So we are going to talk about this place called the Falcon House now, right?
Well, it's not really what it's called, but that's what we're going to call it.
Okay.
It's what I referred to as the Demon House.
I was saying the Demon House. Isn't that what you guys were calling it earlier?
Yeah,
The Demon House.
and we're gonna use the initials D and W. So this was a place that we were asked not to publicly reveal.
Sure.
We were able to reveal the evidence.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
They are still working with demonologists, like actual real demonologists. They're called the Duo Demonologists. They're like actual guys one's from New York, one's from LA.
Right.
They're still working with these demonologists to kind of get their issues settled.
Wow.
So
And we didn't know this till after the fact.
Right.
So like they told us, and we were just like, "Yeah, it's great to know." So we added that question to the questionnaire. It was like,
this
"Are you
house,
demons?"
yep.
Yes, no, not
Right,
going to your
right.
place.
So you guys went there. Then after all that, you found out that these two fucking guys are. These two people are working on this shit.
One's a Satanist, one's a Luciferian.
Oh my god.
A Luciferian.
Yeah.
Tomato.
Right. I mean the light bringer, right?
I think it was because if you're a Rastafarian, you can smoke a lot of weed.
Right.
So they're like, I'm gonna be a Luciferian, so I smoke a lot of weed.
Well, I mean, maybe, I guess.
but
I don't think you're getting enlightened that way.
So before we went there on our application, we have an application that everybody fills out that we go into their house, and it's like a liability release, so that they can't sue us, we can't sue them.
Yeah.
And then if we happen to break something on purpose, we'll pay them and blah 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 blah. We won't eat any food out of their fucking fridge or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Got a
actually
sandwich
on
here.
there.
Protects
It's actually
everyone.
on there.
I protested. I was like, I want free food.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys have any provolone?
Right. But one thing that wasn't on there was anything about like that kind of negative stuff. So this actually made us add that to our application,
Right.
and it's not that we want to investigate it, but now we're going to go into it a whole different. Somebody else may investigate it.
I'll still go.
With
my Ouija board.
Yeah, we'll go with the Ouija board, and he will cuss out whatever it is that's there.
Wow.
So we get hit from this lady in Fulton. She's really super nice. She's married. She's got a couple of kids. Recently, her son is diagnosed with brain tumor. And he goes through some shit, and I'm like, poor kid. It's a great kid, but it's now altered his entire life. They have a mom who continues to be attacked by something that's not there. There's a lot of other unexplained noises and this and that. So we're like, cool, we're gonna come. So we go do the investigation. It's just a simple like 2-story or 3-story or 2-story residence with a basement. So nothing crazy. Third floor is the couple. That's where they sleep. Main floor has the kids' rooms, has the front room, has the kitchen. Basement's where mom sleeps. And it's just an old rickety basement. It's nothing crazy, nothing fancy. Nothing fancy at all. Just you wouldn't. It's unassuming. You drive by it and not think anything. So as we're going along here, we start investigating, and Jacqueline's picking up that there's a guy that it's gonna sound really weird. She's gonna explain it better than me when she's on, but somebody was punished, and the punishment was everybody in the town picked up a pebble. And the guy's on the ground, and they put the pebble on his chest, and they did this until it crushed him, and that is how he died. So I'll get back to that. So
that sounds like witch trials.
Oh, it's actually an old French punishment.
Wow.
It's an old French death penalty.
What year was this?
That was from the 13 to 1400s.
So that's medieval.
Whoa.
Yeah. So she's picking up on this. She doesn't. At the time, we have no idea.
Right.
We're like, this is just this. She's like, this is weird. This is what I'm picking up on. There's this guy up here in this attic. we go into the basement. We catch some EVPs that are telling us mom's Christian, and we're doing some, hey, leave mom alone. She's got ashes in the room of a friend of hers or a family member. So we're like, okay, that's probably got a little something to do with it. But we catch EVPs saying Jesus is allowed here, and that like this place is safe. So we're like, okay, cool. At the time we didn't hear shit, but we get back to it. We're like, all right, cool. We go upstairs and Jacqueline's talking to W, who's sitting on the couch. He's the husband, Dee's the wife. So they're sitting on the couch next to each other. And she just stops in her tracks and she just stares at W. And I mean, like, where's your camera at in here?
Oh, right there.
She just I want you to look straight at it and just stare.
Right there, right by the growler.
Right. So that like that, and for like a good minute and a half, and he's getting like kind of like. Okay. Can I help you? Right. So she didn't really say anything. So she kind of blew it off and kept going on. So we finish our investigation. We go home, and she's like, "Okay, so here's what happened." She's like, W sitting on the couch, and his shadow pulls back, leans out to the left. His shadow has 2 small horns, and it looks at me.
Oh.
And it goes back, and it's his shadow again. So I'm like, okay, that's a demon.
That's whacked.
So 2 horns, that's a demon. And if it's your shadow, it's attached to you. Fast forward.
That's some heavy shit.
Right.
Yeah.
We give them a list. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to contact. I'm not perfect at this. We're still new. But I'm smart enough to know. Contact a preacher or priest. Get somebody in there to bless the house.
Burn some sage.
We did. We burned a bunch of sage.
Yeah,
and actually,
we
it was
do that
good.
in here, don't we, Scotty?
Yeah, it was actually good for like a week or so after we burned the sage. Fast forward a couple weeks, the dog dies of unknown causes in the house. They have to switch rooms with mom. Mom's up in the attic now. They're in the basement because mom kept getting attacked and it was actually worse.
Jeez.
Wow.
I was like, all right, you need to go find a priest or a preacher now, and you need to kind of reevaluate your life choices. I don't normally say that to people. You believe whatever the hell you want to believe in.
Yeah.
And you do whatever you want. I don't care. But if you want this to stop, and then she got COVID, he got COVID, and then she got sick. She's been sick like 5 or 6 times in 2 months. So again, this is attachments to people. We always think of a location as haunted. It's not always the location. Sometimes it's the people in the location.
Yeah.
So I reached out to demonologists. These are very well-known demonologists. In one paragraph of just the summary of what happened, one of them's already talking about booking a flight to come to this location, and his partner is talking about possibly as well.
I want to know whenever that happens.
I don't even know if I'll know. That's they took this. It's very serious, whatever it is. So she's very worried about it because it's like, it's demon. We don't fuck around with demons. Like, we have a rule: if it growls at us, we're gone.
Yeah.
Because we know that if it's a growl, it's usually a demon.
Right.
And we're like getting deuces.
And peace out. Yeah.
And like we've had cryptids, and we've been making weird, odd noises. This next audio, when it comes out, play it on for your listeners of the cryptid, because you're gonna be like, ooh, what the hell is that? But it wasn't a growl.
Yeah.
And the minute we hear a real growl, we're like, all right, we're deuces. We're out. This place was crazy, and it's just proof that it's not always the locale.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the people. Even our last little investigation we did in a little one like studio apartment. It had 3 entities in it. 2 of them were attached to the person. And one to the building.
She actually had a picture of a kid.
Yep.
It was like a 3-year-old.
Something like that.
And she shows you the picture, and you're just like, you can straight see it. Like, if she would have handed me the phone, I still would have seen it. Like,
right.
That's a kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
She got it on her security camera.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we're always looking for, to kind of segue in, we're always looking for places to investigate. We never, ever, ever charge unless you want like us to come out and publicly say,
This is
so
where
and
we're
so.
going.
Like Patty Malone's is haunted. Come here and party.
Right.
Yeah. We'll do that. The first couple we probably wouldn't charge just to get our name out there a little more.
Yeah.
But we have something like 60 investigations total under our belt now. So it's not like we are just kind of running at this. When we now come in with a full wireless security system that we can set up that has full IR. It runs on. We can run it on Wi-Fi, or we can just run it at standalone. I don't even need power source. It runs on portable power packs. So I can literally come in and just set up wirelessly.
Right.
We run voice recorders. Literally anything you can do, we try to do it. We're always looking for places to come investigate.
Yeah.
We have places you guys will never know about because we signed a confidentiality agreement.
Yeah.
And they don't want anybody to know. They just wanted to find out. So
For sure, that's their business.
And then there's other places like Hobo House.
Yeah.
Where we go live, and we're going to talk about that for the next 10 years. Because
absolutely.
of how cool it was.
Yeah.
And we're going to run into those as well. And we're still looking for one of those as well for Halloween.
Yeah.
To shamelessly plug ourselves here.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
reach out to Jefferson City Paranormal Society.
Right. Or the old 77 crew as well.
Reach out to me, reach out to Maddie,
For sure.
reach out to Scotty.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you know anything.
And we're going to do this. So here's the challenge I'll put your listeners to. Find us a haunted house. Or a suspected haunted house. You don't have to know. And we will take Dave.
Oh, Jesus.
And I will blindfold Dave.
Yes, I'm in.
I will put
Totally into it. Yeah.
the headphones on Dave myself.
Thanks, Scotty.
And we will run a spirit box session with him being blindfold. It's called a blind deaf spirit box session. And they're creepy as hell. I've only done one. I don't like them.
Yeah.
Will, how'd you feel?
They're always like, let's do this. Let's go.
Have you done them, Will?
Yeah.
Oh, he's our hey
So
Will.
at the Hobo House. He was talking about the
Oh, yeah, you were
room
talking
that had
about
the portal in it.
He was our blind
I was
deaf.
I was sitting
spirit box
because it was
guy.
supposed to be like right by one of the closets. So I opened the closet and was like sitting right there at it.
Yeah, and so was it pretty freaky?
It's creepy, isn't it?
It was because was it Aaron or did you come up there?
I was there the whole time.
Yeah. So
and then the girls both came up.
So you were there, and it was like there was a couple things. I can't remember. I asked it something, and whenever I said that most of the time you want to listen for the stuff in the background, but I heard, I think it was Shags, but for like two different radio stations, the syllables fit together, but I can't remember the question that I asked, but it fit just right, perfect, and I was like, I'll take that as a maybe, and I'll stick around some longer. And
so a good
I think we got
video
something off of that.
to watch if you have an hour. It's an hour. Some of these highlights I can't help it. It's an hour long. So we did 8 hours of video at Hobo House. They're all on YouTube. You don't have to sit through them all.
Okay.
I did not edit them, but what I did is I just trimmed them out. Right. So I just trimmed out spirit box sessions, trimmed out cool things.
Trim out the good shit.
There's a highlights video. It's an hour long. It is not professionally edited. Please make fun of it. That is fine.
Right.
I do not do. I use Microsoft Photos. That's what I use.
Get that.
Yeah.
But it's enough to put it out there so you can watch it.
Sure.
And you can see what we do, and this is what we want. We want to make this an annual tradition in our area. We travel here and there. We went down to Arkansas. They went to New Orleans. We're going to go to Iowa. We're going to do an axe murder house. But for the most part, we want to stay Cole County, Callaway County, Montauk County, Osage County, Miller County.
A lot of history here, man.
A lot of
tons
of haunting, ton of ghost stories.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, there's ghost stories. But we got to start peeling some of the layers back to get to people, so they can realize, look, we're not. Our mission statement specifically says we are not here to kick up drama out of a ghost.
Right.
Yeah.
Our entire mission is simply to gather evidence.
Right.
So just gather. That's it. Gather evidence. I'm not here. I'm not going to give you a little piece of paper that says your house is haunted.
Right.
Yeah,
Unless that's what you want.
If you want that,
In which case, that's an upcharge.
It's like $6,000 or something like that.
Oh, man, I was thinking like $10, but okay.
I'll get a commission split then. I'll go.
It's a really nice piece of paper.
Right.
Yeah.
It's embossed.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's going to cost any kind of money or anything like that.
Shit, it didn't emboss itself.
But generally, the evidence speaks for itself. I mean, the first time you have you guys ever heard the EVP live? like listening back to it, other than like Ghost Adventures.
I've ran it here.
It's the only time I've seen it is on some kind of show like that.
Okay, so I think I told you guys about this, but I worked with a girl that did EVPs, and I can't remember. I think that the one that she played for me was from, I think it was from MSP, from the old prison, but I can't even remember like what the voice said, but whatever it was fucking clear as day.
Yeah.
And it gave me chill, like it freaked me the fuck out. Yeah.
So my mom's favorite one was from MSP because they had asked some questions, and most of the time she knows that they were prisoners that you don't want to talk about that. It was like you can ask them their favorite color or their dog or whatever. Right. But people are always like, "Oh, they were prisoners." We're going to ask them like, "What were you in here for?"
Yeah.
And they played it back, and she says that the EVP came back and was like, "I don't have to tell you a motherfucking thing."
Damn.
And I was like, "What? I need to hear that." And she tried to search for
So you guys
who
did.
it was.
So you guys have done investigations in MSP.
That was our first one.
What was that
That's
like?
cool.
What was
That's
what was
cool.
the experience like?
Well, that was whenever we was outside the cell. Like I said before, it was like we did the cat toy moved without any lights up.
Did you
there
guys
was
go
some
down to
eerie
like?
feelings.
Did you guys go down to the dungeon
So we did, and then
area? 'Cause that shit's fucked up.
But the dungeons actually we really didn't catch even a feeling in the dungeons.
No.
Yeah.
The problem that you have whenever you do the ghost tour is there's 50 other people there.
Right, that's true.
So everybody's everywhere.
So
and
that's
they're
why
on
it was
top
like
of
this
each
time.
other.
This time it was like there was us, and it was like, well, we need a couple more people, and there just happened to be a friend of mine that I knew from the gym, and his friend. I was like, how many do we need? We need 2, and I was like, you 2 with us. So at least I knew that they were going to be a little bit respectful and not going around, because there was a group of guys were trying to play wardens and taking a stick and running it down the cell and stuff like that. And
Okay, so they
those
actually
ghosts-
they
those
caused
ghosts
my Run Forest Run moment. It was those guys. Because we were back
So they
in
did
that
one
corner.
thing right that whole night.
Yeah,
That's
they
awesome.
scared the
Okay.
living shit out of me. That's
Because
what
my
they did.
mom's just like, these guys are trying to play off on that, and they're like, again, it was like, I don't have to tell you a fucking thing.
That's
It's like,
crazy,
that's what
man.
they're
And I
gonna do.
remember at the end of the night, they were complaining that they didn't get anything. And it's because they were being stupid as shit about
Why
it.
would you do that on a fucking?
Because
I just don't know.
Zach Douchebaggins running around.
Oh, you're right.
And he's, fuck you, ghost. Da, da, da. So
I
people
bought a house
think...
and know I'm cross-eyed.
You got these glasses.
Douchebag.
He instigates the dead. It's Zach, douchebag.
Right. So, and it's because of people like him. And what they do, they're good.
Look at my hair.
We're going to get a call from him tomorrow. And be like,
Hey, look at my hair, dog.
Hey,
Right.
Douchebaggins.
Beautiful.
This is Zach Douchebaggins.
He
There is
is,
some
man.
poor bastard out there that is actually named Zach Douchebaggins.
I remember I was
suing you for copyright infringement, assholes.
There was one time I was watching it. And
You
my wife,
sons of bitches.
My wife comes into the living room. She's like, "Who the fuck's this douchebag?" I was like, "I know. I'm changing it. Trust me, I'm changing it."
All right. So,
But then there was also my mom, again, was down there, and one person was off to one side and the other person to the other. And mom looked one direction, looked back, and the woman's face, like, morphed. And she was like, I'm out of there. And she's like, I will not go down to death row again, because some people have had experiences like that down there. And I guess I gave her a look, and she's like, do not. And I was like, what? She's like, you gave me a look like you're going to go down there on the next tour and just be like, we're going to go to housing unit 3. And you're like, like off to the side and being like, nope, going to death row. And I'm going to get this demonic spirit to leave that handprint on me. She's like, do not. I'm like, okay. She's like, whatever. And then I call her and tell her I got a Ouija board like 2 months later. It's like, oh, so.
Well,
I can't bring that inside.
I'm gonna.
Yeah. Let's open a portal up.
I'm gonna follow you guys just because I can't wait for Will's oh shit moment.
oh, for sure. It's such
I can't
craziness.
wait until that happens.
Because really, like, right now, the only... I'm trying to think of, like,
It'll
at the
happen.
peak to
Keep
where it was,
trying,
like,
buddy.
There's stuff that I can't explain. So, like, at Hobo House, it was like we had the cat toy on the comforter. We had a...
It was an oh shit moment for him. He won't admit it.
Okay.
It was the most oh shit moment I've had yet.
Yeah.
But so we had the cat toy on the comforter. I was sitting there talking about it. We got the EVP and we got the EMP.
The EMF.
EMF, sorry. And nothing's really going on with it. We're sitting there asking it some questions. All of a sudden, cat toy lights up. We look at him. He's probably the closest one. He's like, I look straight at him. He goes, didn't touch it. Like, didn't touch the bed. And so we're running the test for the Facebook Live, and I'm like, all right, you know, my job is, as a skeptic, is to debunk it. Like, let's see what's happening here. So I place my hand on the comforter and is pushing it, and you can see the toy moving just a little bit, but it's not going off. And before, whenever it went off, there was no movement to it. So I'm like, here's what it would take, and finally pressed it down enough to move it visually that you could see, and then it went off. And it was like we even kind of kicked the bed a little bit, and it was like just us hitting the bed wouldn't have done it. It was like that was something. So it wasn't like a scary moment, but it was like, that's the most evidence that I've got.
Yeah.
That something's going on, that something's there.
Yeah.
All the weird shit that's ever happened to me, that's exactly how I feel. Like, it's not a scary moment. It's just something that happens to you, you react, and then you move on.
Right.
Yeah, what else can you do,
Well,
really?
the show that I was watching today, there was just like, yeah, you go in to be like, I'm going to go find Ghost. And then you see Ghost or find Ghost, and you're like, holy shit. And they like run away. And this guy was like, hey, I want you to close the door. The door closed. He's like, thank you very much, and continued the conversation. And people that they got on the show was like, that's the way an investigation should be done. You shouldn't be like amazed. They'll be like, why are you amazed? Like, you told me to close the door, so I closed the door. Like, you're an idiot if you think otherwise.
Right. And one thing I don't like, especially with because the shows, right? That's what everybody kind of relies on is the shows.
Well, that's the visual.
Right. So the problem I have with the shows is mine is like Destination Fear is a good one. That'll scare the living shit out of you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We'll just take Zach Douchebaggins again. They'll go into it. There'll be something that happens, and then they'll go into a different part of the house. And it's like, no. Stay where you're at and continue it on. Try to continue.
We need to get that dramatic music going. Like
and him act
right.
Oh my god! Like, what is that?
And he's always
like
acting
right there, and it's like the camera goes the opposite way. It'd be like, what in the world? Like, why?
Like, right? Just stay where you're at. No, don't send Aaron to the basement yet.
They got their clip though. They got their clip. Now they're going to go into the next round.
Right. That's all they wanted.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm like, okay, that's when you as somebody who does this now, we're like, okay, that's when you know they're full of shit.
I think they fake a lot of things too.
Sure.
By like when they're like down a hallway, and he's like, "Do you hear that? Yeah, I heard that."
Oh no! That shit really happens.
No, but is that like real stuff on their show?
I don't know if it's real stuff on their show, but it's happened.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has happened to like you guys.
But I'm sure there's a bunch
at
of bullshit.
At the Demon House, there was a lot of stair activity.
Right.
Was there really?
Right. So here you go. So this is
they'd be totally upstairs, and it'd be like we did not come downstairs, and it was like I heard footsteps.
There's footsteps up and down. Yeah. Oh, that's real. And so this, I'm gonna play it. Your microphone should be able to easily pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what this is. I had it on sound activation motion activated. So you're going to see motion, but I want you to put it up next to the microphone. At the end, I want you to listen.
Okay.
And there's nobody in the basement. This is in the basement of a house. And this is the kind of shit that we kind of...
Okay, I see that orb. I'm sorry you guys can't see that.
Can you catch that at the very end?
Hold on, one more time.
Hold it up to the mic there.
Yeah, put that speaker right up on that mic.
This is it right here, right?
Yep. Camera.
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah.
Camera, I didn't hear it.
Yeah. So
did you guys hear it?
It was like camera.
Yeah. So at the very end, so we get this weird anomaly that runs in front of that trips a motion activation.
I saw that. I saw an
that
orb.
was in the
right?
crawl space.
No, that was in the basement.
Oh, the basement.
The basement on Easton of Jeff. We can't talk about where it was. But it's things like that, and we get that stuff all the time. So that stuff does really happen.
Yeah.
Where you're getting ghost voices, ghost action. So I can't knock them for that.
Right, I got you.
What I knock them for is whenever, so they do a really good job on like finding out, well, this house was this, and this person died here.
Yeah.
But okay, let's say Jack killed himself 50 years ago, and Douchebaggin's walking through the front room and he hears a click. Jack, is that you? Oh, this place is haunted by Jack, and it's like, you can't do that.
Right.
You have no fucking proof.
Yeah. It's staged. I feel like a lot of it's staged.
I think some of it is staged, especially now because they have to provide results.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the thing,
Yeah.
man. They're on a
Right.
budget. They
You
got so
have
much
to.
time
Yeah,
to film.
exactly. He's got a budget now. He's got to produce
Yeah.
a show.
Yeah.
Right,
If
when
this,
he has a
if,
museum, he has to keep attendance up
if
on.
this
I mean,
particular episode that they're filming doesn't make it, well, then that's wasted, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They're not just gonna not turn a product in.
Exactly.
Like, oh, sorry, we had a bad day.
Oh, and the other thing for the Paranormal Society here,
Yeah.
if any of your listeners call us fake, they are invited.
Okay. Yeah.
Seriously, if you have somebody that's like, oh, that's fake bullshit,
Let 'em-
we do our Riverview stuff all the time. They are more than welcome to come with us. They can sit next to me when I pull audio and listen to audio. We have no problem at all. I have done it.
Yeah, you like having
Because it's
a
like
few
along with me, it
skeptics.
was like I'll
Right.
hear stuff. And it's like, so if we got more skeptics out there, and it'd be like, did you hear something? Or be like, I heard something. Be like, go back and play it. And be like, I hear somebody say something. Be like, oh, you're a skeptic, but you heard it.
Yeah.
That just adds more credibility.
Yeah,
to us.
that's-
When we
that's-
invite them.
yeah.
Like,
That's what makes it for me.
Yeah.
That you're a skeptic.
Yep.
Right,
We had a
you
guy
know?
with Hobo Hill House, and he's like, oh, this is all fake.
Yeah.
And I was like, bring your ass over here.
He
Yeah.
came with you. I should have contacted you
And
guys.
he
'cause
wouldn't
that-
come.
I was so
'cause you're
jealous.
scared.
I
Right.
was so jealous of you guys that night. Because I
A
wanted
lot
to
of
do that too.
a lot of people were jealous.
Yeah.
A lot of we were gonna try to we tried to
was
raffle
crazy
off
'cause we got-
an extra spot, and the
That would've
clerks
been
were like,
cool.
no,
Yeah.
we can't do
Yeah.
it. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
because we were just wanting to cover the cleaning.
Right, the cleaning
was
fee's like
a
$200 a night or something.
Oh my god.
Dude, that place cost us like $2,000.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that place ain't cheap.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so yeah, there's and
I mean, it's been featured on like what 2 or 3 TV programs
yeah,
at this
it's,
point.
a New York Post did a big write up.
Oh, that's
on
right.
it.
That's right.
So I knew that the Dead
UK
Files did something on
Examiner.
it, but it was like being there, and then it was like, oh no, this place did it too. This place did it too, and it's
Yep.
been written about. I was like, that was really cool. That it was just.
The nice
Yeah.
part is we have such a good relationship now with Aaron and Aaron that we're going to try to wiggle back into it, not to do a big investigation, but just to do like micro investigations, to go in for an hour or two. What we have found, Jacqueline and his wife Aaron are such lightning rods. We don't need to be at a place 6 hours.
Right.
We can catch EVPs. We can catch things of evidence. Yeah, we're not going to catch 16 hours worth. We're not even going to catch an hour's worth. We're going to catch 10 minutes worth.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's how that works, though,
that's
right?
all you really right.
Yeah.
And that's all you really need.
Yeah.
Dude, we're not producing a TV show. There's not the Jefferson City Paranormal Society on Discovery Channel.
Right.
Yet.
Yeah.
But if anybody would like to pick us up,
Yeah,
I was
right,
gonna
right,
say
right.
yet.
Discovery Plus
Now-
is just putting out shows to
Right.
put out shows. They'll
Yeah,
pick us
come
up.
on.
Won't lie, we actually did try out Jacqueline and I when they were invited. They were busy that night, but they were included as well. We did try out. Discovery Channel is doing another one.
Yeah. They're trying to find people that do what you guys do.
They picked 2 cops in Oklahoma, so they can go screw themselves.
So
Fuck
going
those guys.
going back to on the break, you were talking about every time you guys do an investigation, come on here, talk about it,
Yeah.
experiences and stuff like that. We're all down for that.
Yeah, man.
Because it'd be cool. Because a lot of times I've got a bad memory, so it's like to
And
talk
we can
about something
document
right
it.
after. It'd be like, oh yeah, that happened. Because I can talk about the last thing that happened. Because
Yeah.
like right now I'm like, what house? This house? What? I don't know.
You got to
It all
write that
runs
shit
together.
down when it happens, man.
Yeah, man.
Right,
I went
no,
to
for sure.
California high school. I don't know how to write.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
1
Public
plus
school.
1 equals 12 over here. So.
Yeah.
Nokomis, Illinois. Tell me about it.
Right. So yeah, no, I think that we'll discuss it with the other members of the team. So we actually have an unofficial team of 7 people.
Right on.
Okay.
We have an official team of 4. So the official team of 4, we go on everything. We also have I'm pretty sure you know Mike
Magnus.
Johnson.
Yeah.
So Magnus, we call him our shaman.
Hey, Magnus is the dude that I did Cambo with.
Yes, he's the Cambo practitioner.
The frog, the
frog
toad
guy.
secretions.
But he
All
is
right.
also
Okay, gotcha.
he is also a shaman.
Oh, you did it
Yeah.
too, Will?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I
It
got my
sucks.
marks right here.
Sucks.
Yeah, it did suck, man.
We should do a thing on. Yeah, we'll do.
I'm not doing it again. It was not pleasant.
You don't want to do it again?
No,
I do
it
it
was
again
not
with
pleasant.
So he's our shaman. He's our because he does cleansings and he
Yeah.
knows cleansings really well in and out. And he does with higher power with his different stuff we won't talk about.
Psychedelics.
Right. And
Some
then,
some of that type of
Nothing
stuff.
wrong with that.
right. And
Cam-
then
Cambo's not a psychedelic.
Cambo's not. It's just a body cleanser.
And it's 100% legal too.
right.
Yeah.
So, and then we have Jordan Fallon and his wife Nicole.
I know Jordan. I've jammed with Jordan.
So they're in a band.
Shit, I didn't know Jordan was with you guys.
Yeah, so he's our unofficial official member.
Yeah.
He's our like Confederate battlefield guy. He knows all the local places like that.
So Jordan used to teach drums at the same place that I teach guitar at. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I actually hired him for. Remember, I used to do all the disc golf events.
Yep.
And I hired him to do a players party one time, so I became friends with him.
Jordan's a fucking killer drummer, dude.
Oh, killer drummer.
Yeah.
She's a fiddler, bro.
Yeah, I know.
I know she'd kill me for calling her a fiddler.
Yeah.
She's a fiddler.
She's a violinist.
She's classically trained.
Yeah, she's good. Shit. And plus they do a little hip hop project called Ridicule in the Rapture. They do a hip hop thing.
And it's actually pretty good.
It's dope.
We went and watched them down in Osage City.
I've been trying to get Jordan to let me come in and do some funky guitar shit on top of that stuff.
Well, maybe.
Come on, dude.
We have to arrange it, man.
He's gonna be listening to this.
Offer to plug his coffee. He might let you.
Yeah, I'll plug your bare knuckle roasting coffee, bro.
It's actually really good. That's what I drink.
Well, I would like to try it. Send me some. I'll give you a review on the air, Jordan.
I'll give you a sticker.
There's a whole bunch of coffee sticker. Hoodie. It's not even worth a hoodie. Go fuck yourself.
But I think it'd be a really good idea to get together after every investigation or every couple weeks.
Or at least after the good ones.
Totally.
Right. We don't want to hear about the shitty ones.
You'd call us up and be like, "No, bro, go ahead and go something else. This one sucked."
Even the lame ones, we're gonna still get something out of.
Yeah.
Even if it was we went there and the lady's cat was fucking demented or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's all cats, right? We've talked about that on the air, haven't we?
Fuck cats, man.
Oh man, I like cats because of that.
No,
cats are
man.
like, fuck you.
Any animal that looks at me and expects me to sift through its shit, I'm not. I'm the pet at that point. No, thank you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fully trained by my cat.
No.
My cat has me fully trained.
Fuck that cat.
Yeah, cats train their owners. They don't train. Yeah,
right.
That's for sure, man.
So do some dogs too, though, man.
There was something I seen on Facebook, and it was like day 400 of whatever. It's like the dog is like, oh, we went out in the yard and played, and it was like this happened. It was like this is the coolest place ever. And they show the cat, and it was like day number 378 of captivity. Yeah. My owner's an idiot. Right. He went and scooped my shit again, but I appreciate it. And like,
he's starting to catch on as I try to slit his throat at night.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to exchange numbers because then you guys can just let us know when you're doing
absolutely,
an investigation.
Yeah, we'll exchange numbers.
And then we can plan it. We can plan ahead and be like, all right, so we're gonna have them on this date, so we can all plan it out.
And remember, if any of your listeners gets us a place to do haunted, we're gonna torture Dave.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm down.
I mean, he's open to it, so we're gonna do it.
I guess I'm cool with that. Like Scotty says, I'll try anything once.
Yes, Dave will try anything once. I've said that. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that even means.
Each their own.
Not like crack. I'm not gonna try crack.
I mean, there was that one time we all didn't look at each other for a while, but
yeah,
that's because we cross swords.
Right? Try everything.
It's
once,
like in Ghostbusters.
Right?
We don't cross the streams.
I'm the keymaster.
We got to get these two together.
Yeah.
All right,
listen, guys. Thanks so much for
coming
on the show.
This was
let's do one more plug.
We do one more? Yeah, go for it.
No, plug yourself, guys.
Find us on Facebook, Jeff City Paranormal Society.
You got time.
You can go to the website. Like I said, it's not complete yet. Working on it. As soon as I teach myself how to code,
I'm right there with you, man. Yeah. WordPress. Yeah. We've got one too that I'm sitting on.
Right. I'm like, there's a website there. I paid for it. I just can't figure. I can figure it out. I don't. So before I could do the site. In like 30 minutes, I had everything designed. It was fine. They switched me to WordPress. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting there for like 3 hours to figure out how to put a picture up.
That shit's complicated sometimes.
It's MySpace all over again.
Right. So we're figuring it out, but you have to, in the world of paranormal investigations, you have to have a legit website. So the best bet is Facebook us. If you want to watch some videos, you can go to TikTok.
And YouTube too, you said, right?
YouTube has the bulk of our video. It's raw video too. And then the other thing that you can do is if you go to Facebook, here's a Easter egg for you guys, for you listeners that waited till the end. If you go to Facebook and you look up Jefferson City Ghost Hunts, Haunts, and Hauntings, that is a group that we dump all of our raw files into after every investigation. And there you can actually help us go through the pictures, through the videos, through the audio.
Cool, man. Cool.
And you can, before everybody else gets to see it, you can see everything. And then on top of it, if you are the person that Dave, for example, is going through all my stuff, helping me out, and Dave sees a picture, it's got a face in it, whenever we post it, we give Dave that credit.
Cool.
On our Facebook page or wherever we post it to, if I make a video out of it on YouTube or whatever, we're all about participation. We have a store with merch. It's just t-shirts, coffee mugs, stuff like that. Our fan shirts are awesome because we don't have fans. We had rabid fans. And it specifically says rabid fans on it because I've noticed that with the paranormal, there's no in-between. Either you definitely don't believe or you are a rabid fan.
Yeah. Same thing with UFOs and aliens.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, this has been fantastic tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you
appreciate
guys
having us on,
so
man.
much,
Yeah.
man, for coming in. We look forward to the next visit.
Well, yeah, no, the next visit will bring the wives along. The wives are going to blow your minds. You may end up accidentally getting a psychic reading.
Cool.
All right, I'm down.
It happens.
I'm okay with that.
It happens so often, it's ridiculous.
I'm down with that.
All right, fellas.
That'd be
All right,
awesome,
guys.
man.
Well,
yeah.
we'll see you on episode 50 coming up.
Episode
That's
50.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Cow,
Oh,
man.
thank you guys. For
Yeah.
sure.
Thanks
Peace
for coming on the show, guys.
You're welcome.
Peace out, bitches.
We're so nice to
We
our
always
fans.
talk. Yeah, we always talk.